Don't be afraid to use a little wrist action. Oop. Not too vigorous though, because they will start to run on you. Alright. And see, it immediately starts to cook once it hits. You already see some brown in it. Ooh, hot. Already got some brown right in here. It's not going to take too long for it to start cooking. That's why you want to keep constant motion on it. Otherwise, it starts to stick and cling to the pan like this. Now don't worry, it's a non-stick pan, so you're not going to burn it. But all that lumped together meat will start to hold together rather tenaciously. Okay, so this will take about 15-20 minutes to actually cook all the meat. You really want to make sure, because it's chicken, and raw chicken, I don't know. You want to make sure you get every last little bit good and cooked. So, you know, where you would cook beef for 10 minutes, cook this for 15, depending on the heat of your stove. Now, do we have 15 or 20 minutes for you to sit here and watch me cook this? No, I don't think so. Little TV magic. Yeah. Aha. See? Nice and brown. All right. Now, your meat is cooked. Your ingredients here are still sitting. And you, my friend, have come to a crossroads. Grease in or grease out? Well, ask yourself this. Are you trying to trim off any little bit of fat you can? Then, by all means, drain the grease. All you got to do is take the meat, put a couple of paper towels down on a plate, let it sit for a couple of minutes. All that grease will fall down onto the paper towel, and you can dump the meat right on into the chili, relatively grease-free. Me, I'm a grease-in kind of guy. So, you just move your big old frying pan up to the pot, start dumping the meat in. Now I have to start stirring it in right away. And when you see these big clumps in the meat appear, just take the sharp end of the spatula and give it a couple of good jabs. And break those on up. So this shimmy, oh, one got away. And like I was saying, because we're using chicken instead of beef, you can see not a lot of grease actually remains once it's done cooking out. So drain it if you want to. It's not going to make a huge difference. But, you know, if it makes you feel better, be my guest. Now, our meat is in, but we don't stir it in quite yet. Oh, no, 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 no. The spices. Now all this is kind of an amalgamation of chili powder, cayenne pepper, black pepper, dried minced onions, salt, of course, a little bit of garlic, paprika, and cumin. That's it. You can make this at home if you want to, you know, ratio however you want. But me, you know, I'm a busy guy. I like it prepackaged. I like it when it comes out ready to rock. So, cup and a half, right in on top of the meat. If you're buying it in packets, it should be about 4 packets. Now, take our magic spoon and we start mixing her up. You want to make sure that all the dried spice makes its way down into the sauce, even up here on the rims. You can actually use a little bit of the chili itself to catch it and then start turning it out. You want to make sure you get all the way down to the bottom of the pot, otherwise you're going to have a lot of flavorless stuff sitting down there at the bottom waiting on people. Now, oh, lost another little bit. Not to worry, there's plenty still to go around. Now, a lot of making this chili is by your eyeballs. I can see that we might have drained a little bit too much of the bean juice out. Now if I wanted to, I could just add that. So I still have it in the fridge, and that's why you save it. But what I'm going to do first because we're still missing one key ingredient. So I'm going to add that, see where we are, and then if it needs a little bit more liquid, we can add it. What is that ingredient, you ask? Well, not so fast. Still got a couple of steps to get there before we actually add our secret ingredient, which is, it occurs to me, not so secret because I told you what it was about 5 minutes ago. Anyway, I'm going to move this onto our one working burner. Move this out of the way. Turn this back up to about medium high just to get things going. It's actually going to start to simmer on low to medium heat and eventually rest on low. But just to kickstart the mixing process, we'll start it on high heat. Our secret ingredient, beer. Now, what kind of beer to use? If you're doing this on the cheap, and I mean the real cheap, you're going to want to stick to your light American beers. Pabst Blue Ribbon works, Miller High Life, Black Label, though Canadian. Even Budweiser, Bud Light, they tend to get a little pricey, especially here. How much to use? Now, for 10 quarts, you want to do about 2 cans of beer. If it's a more adult crowd that you're serving to, feel free to add a third. It's not going to hurt anything. Nobody's going to get drunk eating it. I'm just saying that, beer is an acquired taste, and a lot of kids don't like that bitter, yeasty taste that beer often has. I certainly didn't when I was a kid. We'll crack the beers and pour them right in. Thing of beauty, isn't it? Set those aside. Now, we've got noticeably more liquid in this than we did a second ago, which is good because it was looking a little thick. So what we'll do is we'll see how this sits for a minute, and if we need a third beer, we can add that, or you can add some of the bean juice you drained earlier. Now, you want to keep motion on this, especially if you're not using a non-stick pot, which I highly recommend against. Use a non-stick pot. Like I said, as you cook it, stuff's going to start caking to the bottom, especially the beans, because they tend to sink to the bottom of the chili. You will lose material, and that will make you unhappy. Moreover, it will make your party guests unhappy. Now, this is looking pretty liquefied. So what we'll do is do a drop test. I'm just going to see how this falls off the spoon. Now that's pretty soupy, it's pretty thin. Which makes me think we probably don't need to add more liquid to this. So what you want to do is let this sit for another 5-6 minutes on high heat. Really let it build up a little bit of bite. Another caution, just for saying's sake, when you're making this, don't wear anything you really care about, because chances are you're going to pull the spoon out too fast or drop it in too fast, or something's going to jump out or jump in or what have you. There'll be some splatter, and this stuff does not come out of clothes, so be mindful of that. I love this chili. But since you're serving a party of people, yours is not the only opinion that matters. So, what I'll do is just scoop some of this goodness up, throw it in a mug, just like that, a clean spoon, and we'll ask for a second opinion. What do you think? That's a ringing endorsement if I've ever seen one. Have fun at the game, have fun eating your chili, and go Patriots.